Aussie. Angry Aussie.
Racial terms are a touchy issue. For instance, it isn't often that a white person can get away with saying nigger. Unless you're in Toowoomba, where since the 60s, their major sporting ground has had a stand called the Nigger Brown stand. The stand was named after an international rugby league player, a major figure locally, and back when it was named, someone felt compelled to include his nickname in big letters on the stand, and it's Nigger Brown. Exactly why Mr. Brown's nickname was Nigger is lost in the sands of time. It might have just been a play on his last name, because not only was he Anglo-Saxon, he was reportedly very pale. Maybe that was it. Australians give opposite nicknames. If you're a redhead, you're likely to get the nickname Blue, and some people say because he was so pale, he got the joking nickname Nigger. Toowoomba academic Stephen Hagan has spent most of the last 10 years trying to get that name taken down from the stand. He even took it to the UN, and the local council would never fold. And in their defence, locals, including the local Indigenous community, never seem particularly bothered by it in large numbers. But the stand has been demolished and is going to be replaced by an upgraded stand, and as recently as midweek, the locals were still saying it was going to be called the Nigger Brown stand again. But backflip, at the end of the week, the state government said, no, that's actually kind of bad to encourage people to think it's okay to use the word nigger casually. So it might be the E.S. Brown stand, but it won't be the Nigger Brown stand. Now, you'd think the local agitator, Mr. Hagan, would be happy now. Surely there are no other flagrantly racist names things in Australia. We're not that backward, are we? Wait, there is one of the most popular cheeses in the country, which is called Coon. I shit you not, in virtually any supermarket in Australia, when you go through the dairy aisle, there'll be a whole section saying Coon to you. So now Stephen Hagan's going to go after the makers of Coon to get them to change it to, I don't know, Indigenous cheese? But the original makers of the cheese, Kraft, had said in the past it wasn't a racial term, it was named after someone who worked for them in the deep dark past, one Edward Coon, who developed a new cheese-making technique that was very important to them, so it was honouring him, so they have to keep the name to honour him. That seems vaguely reasonable, but Mr. Hagan doesn't believe them. He says they can't provide him any documentary evidence of a famous cheesemaker called Coon. He says the cheese used to be wrapped in black and the name Coon was applied as a racist joke back when it was very easy to get away with those sorts of things. If that turns out to be true, that it was never named after an Edward Coon, that it was always a racist joke, the manufacturers are gonna be in a spot of bother. To call it a public relations black eye is an understatement. Some people would say this story is evidence of Australia's racism. Others might just say, this proves we love our coons and niggers. That's the news, and that's the mildly disturbing truth.